Hi, welcome back. Um, I don't even really know where to begin, other than I have my war clothes on and my war hair. But I am absolutely disgusted and dismayed, and the hits just do not stop coming in terms of disgust. Before we get into what America, because America is probably going to be the big topic. Why don't you're in pain, guys? Chris has a broken fibula. Please manifest healing and good vibes for Chris, our resident klutz. But when you left China and went back home to Moscow, I don't. When did you fly back? Did you fly back before the attacks began on Iran? What
Yes.
is okay? So what is the reaction in Russia?
Well, first and foremost, as we start, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the Supreme Leader, martyr now Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, to the family of the former president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, to all the military commanders, politicians, and most importantly, civilians, children, women, and men who have become martyrs as a result of the Epstein regime's war on the Iranian people, our proud civilization. And as a dual citizen, of course, I have all my family there. I have over 100 cousins and relatives, many of whom I have not been able to speak to yet. So, of course, deeply concerned about my family, all of my aunts, uncles, cousins, distant relatives who are all throughout the country. Of course, in Moscow, the feeling is one of anger, shock, dismay, disbelief. There have been people going to the Iranian embassy here, bringing flowers. I have heard from some Duma members, both former and current, who are outraged at this atrocity. President Putin himself has issued a statement condemning the attack and especially the killing of the supreme leader, and saying, of course, that it was illegal and something that will destabilize, and also saying what a good friend the supreme leader was to Russia, which I think is very important as well. Uh, I think people understand that this is not only about Iran, that this is about global hegemony once again, and that the greater Israel project, U.S. imperialism and U.S. hegemony go hand in hand, and they are trying to bolster, I think, their overall strategy to begin to carry out some final phases of encirclement and really putting the chokeholds on this developing multipolar world. I think we must recognize now, I have been thinking a lot about it, we have to recognize the limits of BRICS and multipolarity, because they have extreme limits. We are not living in the Cold War period. I think everybody believes that we are living in a time like was in the Cold War, where Stalin or Khrushchev could put nuclear weapons into a country, or Mao could support guerrillas and insurgencies all over the world, or Soviets could supply weapons and actively take part in decolonization. It cannot happen. It can't happen in that way right now. A lot of these countries are also concerned about their own interests and their own affairs, both international and domestic. Of course, Russian Federation is still in an active war against the entire combined West in Ukraine. And China, of course, has its own issues in the Pacific. So I think that this is a really difficult time, not to mention the multipolar world is facing setbacks in Venezuela and Cuba. So I think we are feeling the pressure overall. These past, I would say, these past 2 years or so have been very difficult for us, and we have to recognize that the empire now is more vicious and more brutal than ever before, and defeating it will be a high cost on all of us. I think when we think of the numbers from the Great Patriotic War, those numbers mean something. And I think that we have to recognize that there will be a lot of loss of life before we can bring down the Epstein cabal and these Satanists in the West.
You know what's really interesting, and this is my own personal thing before we get into the news, is that before this, I really wanted to flee the United States. I really, really did. And I wanted to at least leave until the midterms. This was a couple months ago. I talked about this. And now I'm like, what? The only way, I feel like the only way to fight this thing is from the inside. I don't know what else to do. I'm completely like at a loss for words or planning or advice for anybody to do anything. Really just kind of, we can't leave anyway. Americans can't leave. They're not welcome anymore anywhere.
Where to go, you know?
Right. I posted on my own personal profile that if you're, and I'll say it again, if you're traveling outside of the Five Eyes, you need to cancel your trip right now.
I saw that. I think that's a wise recommendation. I usually don't travel.
Well, you don't. You have other passports you can get away with. If you are American traveling on an American passport to anywhere outside of the Five Eyes, I'd still proceed with cautions inside of Western Europe, but I wouldn't go anywhere outside the Five Eyes right now. They've declared jihad. So, and rightfully so. We won't be sitting here making excuses for Americans as Americans. Why? Oh, it's just the government. Oh, it's just the state. It's not the people. No, we're done. We're done. You do not get to murder. I don't know how to convey the gravity of what has happened. This is not even killing the Pope. This is like killing the Pope, Xi, Putin, and Kim all put together. Like, this is catastrophic. You don't get to do this to people and then get away with it. That's not how the world works. That's not how the world works. It never has, and it never will. And it shouldn't. You killed over 100 schoolyard or schoolgirls. Chris is right to keep on mentioning that it's the Epstein regime that traffics and murders and abuses young girls, then murders over 100 of them. And these Zionists and Hezbollah agents are all over X Spaces saying Iran killed them and laughing about it. I have never seen anything as despicable as this in my life. How can you support or make jokes or do propaganda for a regime that we know is ran by pedophiles, supremacists, and criminals? You are disgusting. Disgusting. And I want blood.
You know,
I will be calling out every single one of you piece of shits till the day I die. And then when I do, hopefully martyred or in some ridiculous way, I will come back and I will fucking haunt you. I am disgusted.
You know, I'll say that I was thinking a lot about this moment and how we got here. And, you know, I was thinking back to October 7th and those like early days. And it really set in motion a whole series of events that have become unstoppable. So everything that has happened until today has been set in motion from that initial movement of Palestinians outside of Gaza, breaking the gates of their imprisonment, the Hannibal Doctrine coming into effect, Israel, sacrificing at least 500 to 700 of its own people, and butchering them with aircraft, gunships, and tanks. And that set in motion not only the genocide of the people in Gaza, the Syria and what happened there, Lebanon, the martyrdom of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. We were at the funeral of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah and Sayyid Safieddin, and also Yemen and the strength of Yemen. Also Iran. This is four times in 2 years we've seen war between the Zionist regime and Iran. 4 times, unthinkable before. But we've also completely changed the historic understanding of what's going on in the region. More Americans today are against Israel than they were before October 7th. And the Epstein reality is partly due, our understanding of it, the openness about it, the discovery, the push for this is partly due to what happened on October 7th. That everyone's mind started to open in a new sense of consciousness. Something is going on here. Something's bigger than this. And I really think that Yahya Sinwar may had no clue about what he was unleashing with Ismail Hania and the rest. And who knows if they had gotten in consultations with the other members of the acts of resistance. But what they set in motion has exposed the true nature of the West, the true elite that run it, and what they are doing. And to do this now, think about the significance. This a strike on Iran, this aggression on Iran is during which holy holiday?
We called it. We talked about it on our last stream. We had did a little bit of background on Purim.
Correct. And they did it on there to match. It's for me at some point you have to say this government, this Zionism is really satanic.
Yeah, they're using the Bible as a blueprint. They're not using it as a scripture.
And the Bible as a blueprint. The problem with the Bible as a blueprint is that there are many parts of the Old Testament that are not to be taken literally, but have deeper meanings that you need to have exegesis for. You need to have some scholarly understanding of what they mean. It's not meant to be taken. Like when they say to take babies and smash their heads against the rocks, some interpreters don't think of that literally, but some of those guys in Zionist regime say, absolutely. So now we can bomb a school and kill 100 plus schoolgirls. And there you go. There's our sacrifice.
Real quick, Purim, really quickly, is a Jewish holiday that actually commemorates the slaughter and genocide of Persians.
Yeah.
There you go.
How interesting that we are now attacking the Persians and successor peoples of the Persian Empire in Iran. I mean, for me, I really think that what we are experiencing now, I used to always joke with my grandmother, my yaya, growing up. I grew up with my Greek grandparents from my mom's side. And my yaya was very religious, even though she came from a Greek communist background and a partisan family, and she herself was involved in the resistance. She was very orthodox. And she would always come to me with like the sayings of Elder Paisios or Porphyrios or all of these different monks at Mount Athos and different places who were giving. And she was like, she would always give like some sort of like some foretelling, some prophecy about what was to come for the ends. And now I was looking at some videos online. Some friends were sending it to me from Greece of some monks who were talking about when the Jews attack Persia and their atomic energy and what's going to happen with Turkey and things. And I'm just sitting there like, boy, if my yaya was around now, she would have had a field day with this stuff. But it's very interesting how things have unfolded. It's very interesting how things have unfolded. It's deeply disturbing, but I think that more people are awake than ever before. The question is, will that translate into some change? That's exactly. That's what I'm really concerned about. Yes, people are awake, but they feel powerless against the Epstein cabal. How to dislodge them? How to destroy them? That's the question.
That's so true. That's what I kind of crashed out about yesterday. I said, after I heard about the passing of the Ayatollah, I was like, I don't know how to convey the gravity of this event and like what has just happened. And, people said, like, don't worry. It's just, I can't, I'm really just like beside myself about the entire thing. And the same people that will sit here and say, don't be anti-Semitic at schools are the same people laughing about the girls' school being bombed. I am so sick of this fucking country. I got to hear about the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism and hurt fifis all fucking day. And then we bomb killing. Why did we have to kill Ahmadinejad? Why was the girls' school bombed?
Mm-hmm.
And then Trump today says they may assassinate me, but I've already left instructions if they do.
You know what's even worse is that they will kill girls or rape and exploit them, while at the same time saying women life freedom.
Women life freedom. I posted about that yesterday. So this is your women life freedom movement. You want us to go dislodge the Taliban again for $1 trillion so those girls can go to school or whatever. But you want to bomb and kill and maim and traffic all Eastern European, Slavic, Middle Eastern, Western Asian girls.
And what are we seeing online? A concerted effort to say, oh, the baddies of the Middle East, the Latinas of the Middle East. Why? I'll tell you, let me tell you the roots of the Iranian Revolution as I understand it. My father was a member of the Revolutionary Guard. He fought in the revolution, and in between the fall of the Shah and Khomeini returning, he left to go study, and he then left for good. He didn't go back. But he was against the Shah. And what did he say? My dad was educated. He's an educated man, not college level, but he was very well educated at the time. Even high schools were college level in Iran. He said, what did the United States bring to Iran under the Shah? Alcohol, drugs,
usury,
consumer society, and pornography. So this, I think back and I say, even though I disagree on many issues with my dear Babajan, he was right. They're exactly doing the same thing today. Online. The whole thing is about, we're going to liberate Iranian women. To do what? To go on to OnlyFans. Yep. Become prostitutes. They want to turn Iran into a brothel. And then I was thinking about when I was in graduate school reading Frantz Fanon and reading about Algeria. And the communists said we need to actually support the veiling of women because it goes against the French colonial masters who want to unveil our women so that they can become prostitutes for the French colonial officers and their colonial elite.
So right to point that out. Everything that is like Iran before the Islamic Revolution is always like not scantily clad women, but always done up women and these like, it's always that. It's not like people went to, it's not showing anything that's like tangibly more societally or culturally positive. It's just like, here's some half naked women. Bikinis were allowed. We should do this. Right? It's so bizarre. It's almost like misery loves company, right? We're disgusting and degenerate over here in the United States. You got to be disgusting and degenerate with us. So we don't have to just own this guilt and disgust alone. I don't even know. We keep mentioning the girls' school, and I want to give it the proper attention that it absolutely deserves. So here is a compilation from the school strike. I will warn you, you may want to mute. It is quite sensitive. You may want to mute and look away if you are easily disturbed. So I'll give you a second to do that.
Or so schoolgirls in Iran that have been killed in a strike at there.
And this must stop. This must be stopped, and this is what we're trying to do. Yes, next question, please.
But what about those Iranian
let's
schoolgirls?
allow others.
I don't care if it was an IRGC rocket, you dumb fuck. I don't care if it was anything that had anything to do with the IRGC. You think the IRGC bombed their own school to blame it on Americans? You're sick in the fucking head. If it was an interceptor, that's one thing. You're sick in the fucking head. And I have Zionists on X Spaces laughing about it and talking about it. You guys are sick in the fucking head. There are 150 children dead. You don't care about any children. You don't give a fuck about American children, Slavic children, Middle Eastern children. You don't give a fuck about any children. Just own it and stop pretending. You with those fucking flags in your name with the all Ukrainian flag. Yeah, you give a fuck. Okay, moving on. Moving the fuck on.
They don't care about their own children.
No, they want to serve them up to fucking tranny propaganda and Epstein class bullshit. Like, I'm done with these fucking Westerners. I am so done. Disgusted. It's like it's disgusted. I feel like I'm Anna Kasparian today. I can't even catch my own bearings. Like, I'm disgusted is such an understatement. And now they're talking about, we'll talk about the mass shooting in a little bit. We had a mass shooting and now a mass stabbing on a highway, whatever. Anyway, everything is just absolute chaos. Let's look at what the regime, the Epstein regime, has said in the past about going to war with Iran. These are some throwbacks that our producer put together.
You're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
And our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran, right? It would be huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country.
Here are the steps that Donald Trump has taken to create a war with Iran. First, he tore up the Iran nuclear agreement. Second, he has escalated crippling sanctions against Iran. Third, he designated Iran's military as a terrorist organization. And fourth, he continues to deploy more and more U.S. troops to the region. We've got to stop Donald Trump from starting a war with Iran. I'm asking you to join me and support my legislation, the No More Presidential Wars Act.
We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it? And we're not fixing our highways, our tunnels, our bridges, our hospitals even, our schools even.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
I want to say actually notable about that, besides Tulsi being an absolute ridiculous person, look at how coherent and I don't want to say eloquent, but look at how Trump used to be. When he was speaking the other day about when he did his little 6-minute statement, you know, the one BB wrote for him, I think he almost looked like mindless, robotic.
Maybe he's taking some pills that the doctor's prescribing.
I don't do the wee-woo stuff, but he looks a little brainwashed, or I don't know. Something's weird. But I don't know what to say about coherent. Like he was able to formulate sentences and you could understand. Now it's all very like slow and slurry and
for
weird.
Sure. So I was on John Kiriaku's show at the time that was on Radio Sputnik, and we had talked about Trump at that time. There was a picture of an open drawer on his desk. I vividly remember this conversation with John. And there were pills inside. There were like different boxes of pills. And some of them had side effects for cognitive functioning. So that was something that people had latched onto at the time. But I think that, listen, if you're somebody who has all of these doctors and people surrounding you, the chances are Trump is not, a guy who's going to, go and look at the box probably and see, what are you giving me? Okay, doc, whatever it needs to be, So I just think, he's older now. And certainly I think that he doesn't have a healthy diet, that's for sure. And he's taking medication that we already knew from before. So I definitely think that there's some stuff going on there.
We will do the Iranian strikes compilation now. It's a nice long compilation. Here's your intermission. You guys could do your bathroom and water breaks. But go ahead.
Before we get to that, I just want to mention because we move on to the next thing. By the way, I see in the chat somebody speaking in Greek to me. Yasas. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. I want to say that Tulsi, at the time, I was interested in Tulsi's campaign.
We all
wasn't. But Tulsi came to Dartmouth College and of course New Hampshire is, remember, it's one of the first states that's like a key state. So it's first in the nation historically in terms of the primaries. So she came to New Hampshire and I got to meet her and I got to ask her a question, which was recorded. And I'm pretty sure it was January 2020, just before the pandemic. And so I'm there. And if I remember correctly, I'm at the second floor of the Hop Center, which is the art center there. And I asked her, I said, we're thankful for your stance on Syria because you took the right position on Syria, defending and supporting the government in Damascus, Bashar al-Assad against the Wahhabi Salafi Takfiri jihadists. But I said, do you support cutting aid to the Ukrainian neo-Nazis and Azov who are fighting in Donbass at the time, Lugansk and Donetsk People's Republics, which were not yet recognized or part of the Russian Federation? And she said in her answer, I support continuing to provide weaponry to Ukraine. And that's when I finished with the Tulsi campaign. I walked out of there, I took off my Tulsi button, and that was the end. Never again touched Tulsi.
Yeah,
and I actually had that video. I still have that video. People can go search it on my X. It's still there.
She's Hinduva at the end of the day.
For sure. But for me, I wanted to show that that she was inconsistent. She was inconsistent. She did not have a strong position, and it was always couched in these kind of like vague anti-war kind of like language and lingo. But actually, underneath it, she was Hindutva. She was extremely dedicated to fighting Islam anywhere and everywhere. And all of that started to bubble up. But the main thing was, if I could catch her on Ukraine, that I felt would give me what I wanted to know. And lo and behold, she still supported providing weaponry.
And where the hell is she? Her and Pete Hegseth are nowhere to be found. Pete Hegseth is missing. Pete Hegseth is AWOL.
Where is she?
We have no idea. The rest of them are partying in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I'm sure, they're having a good time. Oh, sorry, I gotta go. A step away from the party. I gotta go do some work, real work.
Nowhere. Pete Hegseth is not made a statement. Neither is Tulsi. What?
People are boozing and blowing lights off of who knows what. And they go down to a control room and they're able to. For me, it's just. It's I don't know. It's sick shit. Really, it's eyes wide shut type stuff. Really.
Okay. Inshallah, strike compilation. Here we go.
Bro. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit! Shit! Oh fuck!
مسيرة دي يا شباب مسيرة اضرب 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 اضرب
Oh my god. صوروا السفارة
Demedim buraya vuracak.
And the Israelis, I think that's what the calculation now is. Regime preservation. Could you get a more pragmatic figure presiding over this regime? Sure.
Aaron, I just want to break in for a moment because we're looking at live pictures in the air over Tel Aviv.
Come on, motherfucker! Second. Come on. Oh, fuck!
Love this comment. Inshallah, soon. Inshallah. Does Iran turn Baku into glass? Oh, we lost Chris. That's okay. Those sites in the Middle East are really interesting to me. I deployed out there to my own detriment. 2016, I did a deployment to the Gulf to participate in the liberation. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Liberation of Raqqa and Mosul. And so those are two things that I will forever regret, which is one of the reasons why I do what I do. It's sort of my own internal way to repent, aside from the fact that I love what I do and I love people. But it's one of my own ways to give back. But looking at all of this stuff, it's like I've seen these places. I've stayed in the hotels that Iran is bombing. I've been to Manama in Bahrain. I've been to naval support activity. This is pretty incredible stuff. The things that are getting slammed into, very, very suspect of air defenses, not really living up to their hype, especially the Patriot. The Patriot was taken out, and so was a THAAD. What are your thoughts on all the things that are coming through? I just posted in another post on X of another missile getting through into Jerusalem. It's becoming increasingly clearer that Iran does, as I've always said, kind of kanging a bit, Iran does have the world's most terrifying drone and ballistics program. What are your thoughts on the munitions that you've seen?
My thoughts are, of course, that the Israelis and the Americans so far have dropped what the number has been floated today, 2,400 bombs. 2,400 bombs, missiles, most of them, a lot of munitions from high above, 1,000, 2,000 pound bombs have been used so far. There have been targeted strikes at Iran's capabilities, air defense, missile launchers. That's really what they're interested in taking out. Missile launchers and the tunnel system where those missiles are buried. What I've seen is Iran is basically saying, okay, we can take a page out of the Russian playbook for Ukraine, and we'll just start sending Yerans, start sending the Shahed drones over. And you're seeing drones flying everywhere now. And nobody has the capability to take out these drones because these drones go a little bit lower. And you can't use a THAAD system on a drone like that. Patriot system absolutely don't work properly for the drones. So you have to then engage drones in a whole new style, and they're not prepared for that. They're thinking that Iran's just getting ballistic missiles. Now Iran's saying, sure, you want to bomb us back to the Stone Age? Asymmetric warfare, baby. Get ready for thousands of drones coming at you. This could be a very cheap way to turn this whole region into, once again, an absolute drone fest, like we're seeing in Ukraine right now. So,
go ahead. Sorry.
Tell me.
I'm dying to see like 1,000-strong drone swarm. I'm just dying.
I think that what we're seeing is the beginning stages.
Oh, yeah, they're just opening things up. Yeah, they're just opening up.
Yeah, listen, Iran has stated, now we fully understand that Iran was prepared from the start. And they're going to do tactics similar to what happened during the Iran-Iraq war, decentralized, basically cell level type stuff. So basically, America is sitting here thinking, oh, we've taken out the supreme leader, former presidents, all their military staff, and it's over. All right, everybody, regime change. No. You have 1 million plus soldiers and Basijis ready to go. Each of them elite units, each of them ready for asymmetric hybrid warfare. People are saying, oh, it's a cope to think about hybrid warfare. No, it's not. US got thrown out of Afghanistan and Iraq with hybrid warfare. So I don't understand what people are saying about hybrid warfare. The Israelis the Zionists didn't even finish taking Gaza, and they bombed the Stone Age and committed genocide and killed how many hundreds of thousands? And you're sitting here telling me, oh, it's just a cope. No, because an army like Israel's and the US's army cannot handle asymmetric warfare of this kind for long term. They can't. And this is the problem. The Zionists are pushing the US to the point of you have to stick with us, because the Zionist propaganda today is, you saw Netanyahu's speech, we're going to go for full regime change. There's no going back at this point. We've entered into a campaign that's long duration campaign. The Americans, from what I heard last night, I was telling this on Jackson's show earlier on Legitimate Targets. I got a message from a very senior person in Iran who told me they had gotten word through Italy that the Americans were trying to reach a ceasefire with Iran. They wanted a negotiation at that point, after it had become known, more or less, that Ayatollah Khamenei had been martyred. They had already reached out through Italy intermediaries to Iran. And what did Iran respond? And this was verified by the official. Iran said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no time for negotiations now. There's been mixed messaging after 14, 16 hours that there has been some, Araghchi said, okay, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think at this point, all bets are off. Mm-hmm. All red lines. There's no red lines at this point.
No.
Everything's being hit. Not only that, they are going to think about this. Because I went on the Emirates site before the show, because I travel so much and you travel so much. I'm gold on Emirates, right? So I was thinking, I wonder what Emirates is doing right now. Their website is basically, we're suspending everything until tomorrow, and I'm sure they're going to keep suspending it. Yeah. Iran is going to inflict heavy damage on the economies of the Gulf states, who have been collaborators of both the Israelis and the Americans. And that economic damage, all Iran has to do is send a couple $100,000 drones over Emirates, over the Dubai airfield, to have it be shut down day after day. You know how many hundreds of millions of dollars of damage it will do?
Oh my God. Just logistics alone.
Oh, I'm telling you, people are freaking out. And actually, somebody today came over. As you know, I'm injured. So I had a friend come over today, and they were showing me on Instagram the reels, Ukrainian and Russian influencers and escorts, and you name it, basically saying, we thought we were escaping all of the chaos in Ukraine and this and that, and they were reliving their worst nightmares from 2022 onwards. But it exposes, and of course the UAE is doing damage control now, and all their social media influencers are out there saying, no, the UAE is wonderful. Even Miles Chong is like, no, everything's
I ratioed that fat bitch. But anyway, go ahead.
Everything's wonderful and kumbaya. No, it's not. The UAE has been at the forefront of much of the part, it has been a big part of the problem, and at the forefront of a lot of the violence that we've seen, not only in Yemen, not only in Sudan, in Somalia, in Libya, but in Syria as well. They have been arming and funding in their own ways, in their own capacities. So that must be fully stated. So they are definitely responsible for this. They're also a signatory to the Abraham Accords and have deepened their ties with the Israelis. There was a report that CIA agents were killed. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, the CIA headquarters in Dubai, yes.
Yes, so CIA agents were also killed. It's very interesting that wasn't factored into the number of U.S. service people killed.
No, they won't do that for the CIA.
They won't do it for the CIA. But I also think that the number is a little bit higher at this point. I don't think that we're seeing full true numbers of killed personnel. And that's another thing. People are like, only 3. They have to notify family members. We're going to see numbers coming out. And that's why already there's a narrative spinning that everybody who dies is doing a great job and is a heroic fighter for freedom. I think we're going to see some big numbers going up.
That was crazy. We'll get to that in a second. I just want to explain this comment. He said these Arabs are cheering for these strikes. And I want to explain to you guys, I wrote a post yesterday, like kind of a snarky, but I did mean it. I said, Kuwait back to Iraq, Bahrain back to Iran. Yep. These places were manufactured places to be what they are. They are oil producing monarchies with a minority in charge of a majority. In Bahrain, you have this very weird, eccentric royal family, that Sunnis, that are in charge of a Shia majority country. Most of the videos you're hearing where they're saying Allahu Akbar or thank you and all of that stuff, those are the Shia they're cheering, bomb these sites. We don't want them in our country. And I also, I didn't get to talk to our Iraqi friends. I don't know if you and our producer did. Have you heard from them? And can you give a little bit of update there? Our Iraqi friends are like, yes, let's go. It's time. But what have they said and what's going on in Iraq?
So there's been limited communication, just basically making sure they're okay and everything. You and I and our producer were in Iraq this summer for Arba'in, you saw tens of millions of people dedicated, walking in the heat, prepared for martyrdom. So nobody can tell me that, oh, regime change is going to be easy. It's going to be smooth. No, it's not. You don't understand Shiism. This is not how it works and operates. And I'm glad that some, commentators out there are really telling the truth about this, and the fact that the martyrdom is part of the religion. Like, it comes with it. They're like the early Christians. The early Christians went willingly and happily into the mouths of lions and tigers in the Colosseum and in the big arenas, because it was for their religious, it was for their faith, it was to get the kingdom. So trust me, I mean, we're in for a real storm here. I just want to mention that I spoke to one of our dear friends there, Ali Hosseini. So our dear friend told me, sent me videos of what was going on. There are major clashes in Baghdad between the security forces and a lot of the people who are supportive of Iran, affiliated with different groups there, and they're trying to storm the Green Zone.
Yes.
And of course, the Iraqis have been asking the Americans to leave for how many years now?
A decade?
A decade plus, and the Americans still have not left. And now you're seeing the result. And Iraqis now are saying, enough, we don't want you anymore. We don't want
Green Zone. Okay, so just to explain to you guys, in Baghdad, there's a fortified city within a city. It's called the Green Zone. It's American territory, basically. We've been in and out of there. Some Iraqis can freely pass in and out of there. It's manned. The checkpoints to get in are manned by Iraqi police. There's a very small contingent of U.S. soldiers there. It's mostly there for intel collection and to terrorize the place. So rightfully, and it also has a Starbucks inside of it or something. So naturally, the Iraqis want them to go. And I mean, we were just in Baghdad. Even outside of more so outside of the Green Zone, I thought it was beautiful. There's no reason for that Green Zone to exist anymore at all, other than to destabilize that region and to keep a foot in Iran. So that needs to go. They're still trying to storm the Green Zone. They're kind of clashing. That was happening this morning. We also have the storming of the U.S. consulate in Karachi. People don't realize how large this stretches.
Yes.
Okay. We have the Shia in Kashmir who have started rising up.
Correct.
You have the Shia in Karachi who have risen up. You have the Shia in Islamabad. It's happening everywhere. Like we'll circle back to Americans are not safe. Do not leave the Five Eyes. Anyway, so we're calling this the AIPAC situation tent. This is where our lives are in these people's hands. Make sure you guys all take note. Narco Jubio.
Put the picture back up.
Very, very medicated Trump.
Oh my God! Look, they all look miserable too. How many of the people in that picture were on the island? That's what I want to know.
Also, protests are obviously starting in Tehran. This idea that Iranians need to get in the streets and overthrow the government. Well, here is the Iranians' response to that.
I just want to say, last February, our producer and myself, along with Jackson, Haz, the whole crew, we were in Lebanon, in Beirut, for Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah's funeral, right? So we're in the stadium. There are 1 million people on the streets. And you know what happened? Everyone knows. Israeli jets flew overhead, very low, 4 of them, flew right over us. The energy, I'll never forget it. The screaming and then the anger and the unison, death to Israel, death to America, death to Israel, death to America. And I thought to myself, they really think at this point that they can intimidate these people? These people are going to fight with sticks and stones if they have to defend their land and defend their people.
Hey, dar. Yeah, we got a hey, dar, and a chance too.
So I just want, like, people have this kind of illusion that everyone in Iran is like an Iranian in California or in Toronto or in London or in Australia, that somehow they're all going to come out with blue jeans and T-shirts and say, all right, regime change, here we go, ready for, capitalist society and all of those. No, this country had a revolution. This country had a monarchy, an authoritarian monarchy that failed at reforms, that immiserated the countryside for the urban areas, that did not necessarily provide a good quality of life, that had a completely uneven class system, that spent billions of dollars on its own lavish lifestyle, which Pahlavi is living with today. How much money was stolen from the Iranian people?
Billions.
That tortured its own citizens. Savak tortured its own citizens. If you were caught, for example, with the Communist Manifesto, you were tortured and probably and killed. And there were people who weren't even religious, who were secular, who invoked Islam, and specifically who invoked Karbala to speak in a way that people could understand that I am going to martyrdom because I believe in fighting injustice. There's many very famous instances of this. I think of poets like Golsorki and others who really went willingly, and in their testimony in front of the judge before they were executed, they said, my life is like Imam Hussein's life. And they weren't even necessarily religious. But they said that was a way for people to understand how deeply impactful this kind of meaning is. So when you martyr an 86-year-old elder statesman who's in his office, surrounded by family.
He was there on purpose. He was there on purpose. He was ready to die.
Why to hide? You want to kill me? Kill me like a man. The Shah fled like a rat. He fled with all the money and all the jewels and everything they could get their hands on. And my father was in Tehran at the time and was part of a Revolutionary Guard Corps that had to guard one of the palaces. And he told me inside, the guards were shocked at how lavish the Shah had lived. They didn't even fully realize.
I didn't know.
My dad won't talk about these stories publicly because it bothers him so much. But they talked about golden silverware, golden plates and golden plated parts of the rooms. And he said, while people were hungry in the country, while land reform of the White Revolution had absolutely failed and was abysmal. So, tell me again how the people overthrew a government in a popular revolution. It was the 5th largest army in the world. Think about this. The Imperial Army of Iran, the Shah's army, the 5th largest in the world, was provided with the beginning of nuclear technology to make it a nuclear power, had a good relationship with Israel, had a secret service that was CIA-backed, funded, trained, and armed. And somehow the people of Iran overthrew this entire structure. And then Saddam Hussein launched basically an 8-year war of aggression on Iran, 1 million casualties plus. And you're telling me that this was not a popular revolution? That somehow all the Iranians in the diaspora, they all are like, oh, these foreigners. No, Iranian people stood up. Ordinary people by the millions stood up against this brutal regime that tortured ordinary Iranians day in and day out. So people have no historical concept and understanding of those years in Iran, especially. They should do more research. There are great books out there about it. And I think that when you understand 53 and beyond. You understand that Iranians see the United States, the British, the Zionists as not only as enemies, but as the incarnation of evil, of everything that has befallen them in a bad way. All of the negativity, everywhere there has been destruction and devastation, has been from them. They've supported it. They've created it. They overthrew their democracy when they had a democracy. It wasn't an Islamic republic. It was almost a secular democracy. And they overthrew Mossadegh. So people understood. You can't even have a secular democracy with these people if you don't play by their rules. So this is another thing I want to explain to people. Right now, there is no opposition in Iran that is cohesive enough to take power. Outside of Iran, there are plenty of groups. First of all of the Kurdish separatists have gathered together in Iraq. ADPI, Pejak, Komale, all these groups have come together and united and are now saying we are the Kurdish resistance. We're going to liberate Kurdistan. Wonderful. Balkanization. Baluchistan, the same. Avaz, the same. But there are two major factions of the Iranian diaspora which are fighting amongst each other. You have Maryam Rajavi's cult, the Mujahideen Khalq, based in Albania, which is supported by John Bolton and Rudy Giuliani. By the way, Rudy Giuliani is attacking Pahlavi and all the Americans supporting Pahlavi, which is amazing. The inner fight amongst America. And so you have Rajavi, who are also supported by the US, by the intelligence, CIA, and Mossad. And you have Reza Pahlavi and all of the monarchists who are also saying, and both of them have created interim governments in exile.
Stop it.
Rajavi has announced herself as interim leader, and Pahlavi has announced himself as interim leader.
Oh, we got two Guaidos. What are we gonna do?
I love it. I love it. You've got a Machado and a Guaido fighting now for who to take power and control. You know, it's absolutely insane. So the level of cope, especially amongst Iranians in the diaspora, who have no tangible connection to Iran outside of maybe family members there or traveling once or twice or three times, those who go often have a different conception than those who left in 79, 80, or in the 80s and have not been back. They don't know what the reality is on the ground. They have illusions. They have fantasies, but this is not the reality. And there's so much propaganda and psyop within this information sphere. They are totally brainwashed. So
we deserve better psyops. We really do.
I think that people need to understand. We need to grasp the reality that this is not going to be an easy regime change.
No.
At all.
No.
Anyone who thought that this would be in and out, which I think Trump really, again, delusional as he is, thought, I'm going to kill the supreme leader. I'm going to kill this. I'm going to kill that. And it's going to be easy. And maybe Bibi trapped him too. Maybe Bibi was like, Donald, don't worry. Listen to me. We'll start it. We're going to finish it. And the people are going to rise up. Oh, we're not seeing the people rising up. We're seeing the opposite at this point. So
every so often I scream or crash out about us being ruled by maniacal gays and Jews. Well, and you mentioned that they thought that it was going to be in and out. But here's Lindsey Graham saying that they knew it wasn't going to be in and out. Listen to this insane person.
Command. And if we lose anybody in this operation, they will have died a noble death because they will have risked their lives and sacrificed their lives to make us safer here at home. The blood of the martyrs.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Right? Israel thanks you.
Israel thanks you.
The Jews send their regards. So I'm not going to do it this time. But also, Laura Loomer's doing the same thing, which I think is really interesting, coming from a maniacal Zionist who has criticized Muslims and their actions for as long as I can remember, is now saying the same thing. It's an honorable sacrifice to die in this war against Iran. She just leaves out the part that says for Israel. So they're all going to sit there and be their influencers. And you saw the IOF soldiers, literally tears, crying, running through the streets, trying to get to the bomb shelter. But the American soldiers are left on the bases.
Correct. Correct.
Saying, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. That thing in the beginning of the video where you saw that guy saying that American, that's the villas that they live in. They did not evacuate those villas. So they're like right there while things are getting bombed. The IOF is in bomb shelters.
Yep.
Take note.
By the way,
also rumors that the Lincoln got hit. So that's 6,000 sailors out there while the IOF. And again, I'm going to reiterate, there are more Americans serving in the IOF than there are Jews, any type of Jew, total in the entire United States military, period. Why?
Interesting statistic.
Again, the girls are still fighting with this MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. The producer has dyslexia today, but MGT. Laura Loomer, every day I'm more vindicated. Okay, this is fucking disturbing. This is like, even for her, now it's time to round up the Muslims before it's too late. I'm posting this for a reason, because I want everybody to point this stuff out when you see it. Okay? This is Nazi rhetoric. This is the rhetoric they told us that the Nazis used. This is literally to the T. Swap out Muslims for Jews and tell me that Goebbels said it, and I'd believe you, right?
When I said that Zionism equals Nazism, this is anti-Semitism. Why is it anti-Semitism? This was the plan all along.
And now, like we said, we're trapped here. We can't leave. Where are American Muslims supposed to go? We're not. Maybe they might be welcome places because they're Muslim, but Americans, for the most part, are trapped. You want to start rounding people up? These maniacal Zionists. She's not even a religious Jew. She's secular. She just wants to round up Muslims, put them in camps. In these camps that the DHS has been buying all over the country. What are we doing here?
You know, all I have to say is that her follow-up tweet, which basically said, so she said at first deport them all, and then she said to ban Islam in America. Wait a second. You want to ban a religion in a country that enshrined religious freedom in its founding
They want to
documents?
change the Constitution.
And this year is the 250th anniversary, the semi-centennial, however it's described. And you want to ban a religion in a country that supposedly has a separation of church and state and freedom of religion? Tell me that these people always have this cudgel, like, we're real Americans, we're patriots, and somehow you and I are not patriots. I don't want to ban anybody's religion.
Yeah. Except for those Taoists. Those Taoists are very violent and crazy. That's sarcasm, guys, if you don't know what Taoism is. But sorry.
Yeah, I can tell you.
I had something else to say about Laura Loomer. Now I'm losing it. I've lost it. Anyway, if it comes back to me, I'll yell it out again. But here we go. Also, CENTCOM is in absolute shambles. If you guys don't know what CENTCOM is, Central Command, responsible for Fifth Fleet. Fifth Fleet is where the headquarters of Fifth Fleet is located in Bahrain. That's what you're seeing get bombed by Iran. Fifth Fleet is the bane of existence for every West Asian and Middle Easterner in the world. Fifth Fleet is the enemy. So here is CENTCOM. Here's them talking about we did sustain some deaths. That's Operation Epic Fury. We're calling it Operation Epstein's Fury to usher in co-Sharia law. But so here's CENTCOM, and they also had a tweet up that they later deleted that was talking about Iran's direct hits on the Haifa oil refinery. So it's a total shit show. They also told sailors, go hide in the hotels. What? They have no plans for these people at all. No plans for this attack. It's absolute shit show. So then Marjorie Taylor Greene she's going ape shit today. She retweets it. My God, these poor military members and their poor families. I'm sorry for them and praying for them. This was absolutely unnecessary and is unacceptable. Trump, Vance, Tulsi, and all of us campaigned on no more foreign wars and regime change. Now America's soldiers are dead. Period. And here she goes. Israel calls up 100,000 reserve soldiers. Is Laura Loomer on the list? But she's out. Exactly. She's
Where's Netanyahu's sons? Where's Netanyahu's son? Where are Trump's sons?
Are you kidding? Netanyahu's son's in Miami with Sarah Netanyahu.
I know.
Having gay
Did he
sex
get
with
online?
the Mossad agent that lives down there with him.
Yeah.
We have some other breaking news. Iran has carried out, Iran has carried out strikes. This is a statement. This is not our opinion. On civilian and residential sites in Persian Gulf countries. Well, they have. I mean, they've bombed hotels, but we could discuss them in a space later. We are running low on time, but those hotels they're targeted for a specific reason. The Gulf states said they will take necessary measures to defend themselves and may respond to what they call Iranian aggression. Okay. Earlier, the leaders of Germany, France, and Britain have threatened Iran with military action if it continues to launch attacks on the territories of Middle Eastern countries. Oh, now you guys are allies with the Middle East? It was fine when Israel was bombing the fuck out of them, but now Iran is bombing American sites and we got a problem? This is the thing. The fight is all of us, right? We need French people, German people, American people in the streets. Not violently, but no more. No more weapons to Israel. No more covering for this bullshit. Just now, ministerial council members were informed that Iran is preparing to significantly increase the pace of missile launches. We already kind of figured that. That's from Israeli media. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced that they plan to enlist. I can't even read this with a straight face. But they plan to enlist experts from Ukraine to assist their partners in the Persian Gulf in shooting down Iranian drones. Does Keir Starmer not realize that they're the same drones that they can't shoot down in Ukraine? They're going to go over to the Persian Gulf and shoot them down in the Persian Gulf? It's not different.
No. Listen, Keir, take all the Ukrainian experts from the front line, please. Please, I'm ready. Take them.
Anyway, let me get through the rest of these assets so we can get you guys out of here. From one assassination to an hypothetical assassination, we talked about the Ayatollah. And there's a really beautiful video. I posted it on the big account. A young Iranian boy comes up to him, a young Shia, and he says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" He said, "I want to be a martyr." And he said, "No, you don't. You want to go to school and you want to do things to support the Islamic Republic. And then maybe when you're 80 or 90, then you can be a martyr. You should live a full life." And that's exactly what he did. And there is some beauty in that. And guys, it is very sad, but to die during Ramadan he is amongst the holiest of holy. It is an absolute honor. While it's sad for us, would most likely be incredibly honored. But here is his polar opposite, talking about his hypothetical assassination.
Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do, not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That'd be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran. So I'm signing.
Apologies for the video being frozen. No worries, though. You got the audio, and that was the most important part. Nobody needs to watch his horrible leathery face moving, gyrating to his words. But he's wearing, and Trump has talked about, am I going to hell? Am I going to heaven? Blah, 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 blah. So there's Trump on his hypothetical assassination. And here's a video that I have not seen that the producer just watched. So let's take a look. Also of Trump.
Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible
where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization.
Why is he smiling?
Waged war against civilization? You mean a 5,000-year civilization that's being waged war on by a country that was founded in 1948 through the displacement of, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, and a country that's 250 years old.
Why do these people laugh with glee or smile when they're talking about the murder of Americans? Even Howard Lutnick laughs his ass off when they talk about 9/11. This is like, is this a blood sacrifice? I'm not into the wee woo, but are they happy to sacrifice people?
It's some strange shit. I mean, I'm not, I don't know. It's bizarre. I don't know if it's a nervous laugh. I don't know if these people are just sort of on the spec. I have no idea.
It's disgusting. Okay, and lastly, here is hospital strike from tonight, typical of the United States and Israel. Let's take a look.
وضعیت بیمارستان گاندیه وضعیت بیمارستان صاف زده بیمارستانو
Again, another rough video. So I guess the Iranians bombed their own hospital too. Are we doing the Hamas thing? Are there tunnels under there? Did Hamas bomb the hospital? They also, and guys, where are my Serbs at? Where are my Libyans at? Where are my Yugoslavs at? All of you remember, what did they bomb first? They bombed the state media. They bombed the hospitals. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are bombing IRIB. They are bombing state media. They are bombing the cell towers. They are bombing all the communications. This is a typical NATO regime change war. You can go watch Weight of Chains about Serbia, the fall of Yugoslavia, talks about the bombing. It's the exact same playbook. And now we have France, Germany, and Britain talking about they want to join. This is quickly becoming a new Yugoslavia.
That's what they want. I posted now twice that image. I'm going to post it again tonight. I posted now twice the map of Yugoslavia and the map of Iran. First of all, they look almost very similar.
Crazy, yeah.
And of course, that's the goal. Kurdish rebel groups coming together, Baluchis coming together, Ahvaz, the Arabs coming together, Azeris, getting very excited, especially in Azerbaijan with irredentist claims. I think that there is really the possibility of increased escalation in a lot of the regions that have minorities that could really tear apart Iran. And they're fighting amongst each other online, by the way, because I always post, I say, look, I'm an Iranian Kurd and Lor. I come from two minority groups, both of which have proud traditions and cultures and also civilizations. But we are Iranian people. We belong to the nation of Iran. We belong just like we belong to the Persian Empire before. There's no reason to carve it up. For what? So that we become a pawn of the others? You saw what they did to other Kurdish regions over history. You don't have to be a rocket science to know what they're going to do to us. But of course, the diasporoids are saying, oh, Israel's going to be a friend. What friend? And do you want them to be? You think they're going to shed
Israel
blood?
isn't even a friend to the USA. Why the hell would they be a friend to you?
Exactly. Do we have any justice for the USS Liberty? So what kind of friend you want?
Look what they're doing to us now. They want to round up American Muslims and silence the Gentiles.
Exactly. So not to mention what they're doing to Christians in the region. So
they're going after the Armenians again this week. I posted about that. They're going back into the Armenians. Well, Pashinyan is shaking hands with the Turks. Well, that's another thing. We won't open that can of worms. Let me touch on this one mass shooting. I don't know enough about the Cincinnati one. I won't speculate. Austin, bar shooting. I watched the videos. I'm not a very good AI detector, so I won't get into that. What I will get into is what they've actually told us, is that this man is from Senegal. Now, I know a lot of Senegalese people. Don't ask me why. I love the Senegalese people. I have never met a Muslim extremist from Senegal. They're actually usually not very Muslim because they practice their old religions, which are a little bit we woo, but we won't get into that. They're Sunni state. So why would he be avenging the Ayatollah? A Muslim would never wear property of Allah shirt on their chest, especially while committing a crime, number one. Number two, they wouldn't wear it because it's incredibly disrespectful because of where you have to wear clothing in places. You're walking into bathrooms, you're walking into dirty places. They wouldn't bring Allah's name into those places. And then he has an Iranian shirt, an Iranian undershirt underneath this sweatshirt.
Doesn't make sense.
Makes zero sense. And he has a Quran in the car. Always a Quran in the car. Where's the ISIS flag? Was that somewhere nearby too? We got to, like, are you guys playing bingo here? So all I'm saying is that, guys, also read The Terror Factory by Trevor Aronson. I believe his last name is. I know his first name is Trevor. I think it's Aronson. But Terror Factory, read it. Okay, that same thing happened with the Afghani that did the mass shooting or whatever, the shooting with the National Guard. Same thing. That's what the military. Yes, that's what this is. That's 100% what this is. So with all of these false flags that will be popping up, exactly like with Purim, we still have all of the rest of Ramadan to go into. Eid is obviously going to come up. We will be having, this is false flag season. You guys just need to stay calm when stuff like this happens and take a step back and then analyze it. They're really bad at this now. Like the Hasbara and the propaganda has just gotten really pathetic. So you shouldn't really have to do that much effort. And I'll talk about it later on in the space, like I promised, about why specifically the Zionists and these sort of imperialists are going after places like Florida and Texas. It's mostly about their sovereignty. Texas and Florida exhibit an extreme amount of sovereignty for in terms of United States states. So we'll talk more about that at another time. Also, this tweet, guys, take a screenshot, put it everywhere. These people need to be called out on everything. These people need to never know peace ever again for the rest of their lives.
Never again. We've the biggest psyop of our time.
Guys, go check out the merch. I don't have I used to have a picture of it, but we do have the Shahed shirts. So we've always had those. Shahed shirts are fire. That's always been our best selling shirts. Guys, no free shipping, no taxes, no tariffs. Free shipping anywhere in the world. Even occupied Palestine. If you want to send one to your Israeli friend. That might be nice. You know, they open it up and they get like a Shahed shirt from DDG.
And then one flies over.
Yeah, they would love that as they hear the lawnmowers in the sky. Yeah. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of our episode. Let's get through these super chats. Everybody's sending Chris good vibes. Guys, continue to send Chris good vibes.
I want to thank you all for the good vibes. Thank you so much for the good vibes, for the love. Thank you so much to everybody for that. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all paying Chris's medical bills now.
Thank you.
Hummus, thank you. We stand with Iran today, as always. One of our new mods, Miss Shorty. Guys, make sure you check out her channel. Give it a sub. She talks about some of the stuff that I'm too stupid to cover. Some of the more wee-woo stuff. I've heard Brazil's actually a good place to abscond to. So that could be in the options.
You know about the Christian Zionists there? Be careful.
I know. Maybe we could convert them. I live in the middle of Kansas in a big house, and I have access to a big farm, which I hope will buy my kiddos. Yeah, these flyover state people, you farm people, you guys will be fine. It's going to be the cities. It's going to be the coasts. Love you too, Will, as always. Noxie Love, guys, go find her. I'm trying to twist her arm into streaming. She shall. But go find her on X. Please follow her. And the reason why I really want to give her a shout out is because she's covering the Epstein thing. And she came to me and said, I'm kind of geopolitically ignorant. And I'm kind of Epstein file ignorant. So it kind of worked out really well. But all of this stuff ties together.
Absolutely.
This is the war. This is Epstein's war. This is Epstein's war. We'll talk about it more in spaces. I'm not allowed to comment. I've held myself back but YouTube is on a censorship spree, so it's probably YouTube. Thank you, Blonde Sky Charlotte. YouTube doesn't like my truth. Where are the Jordanians? Why aren't they rising up? Maybe they are.
Good question.
But, yeah, we'll see. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Oh, Juju, love you guys. May Imam Khamenei continue to rest in the presence of Allah. Who do y'all think is next in line of secession? I don't think. What do you think?
They've already named a successor.
Who is it?
Interim successor. I'm trying to remember his name. but there's already reports that he's been killed as well, unconfirmed.
Okay.
There's already reports that he was targeted. So we'll see as the dust settles.
Thank you to SCL. Chris, what happened to Patrick Star of David to make him such a demon?
That's a very good question. He comes from an Assyrian, I think it's an Assyrian Armenian background, if I'm not mistaken. And probably he left Iran, got involved with the diaspora community, and that really has an impact on you. I've seen it actually throughout my life.
California.
Oh my God. And I went to undergrad in California, and I got along with 0 Iranians in the diaspora.
They're crazy.
Zero. Because I was, of course, very proud to be Iranian, our anti-imperialism, our pro-Palestinian advocacy. I said, sure, there are problems with our government. Of course, there were problems in all the governments that I support. But Iran was on the right side of history on many issues. And everybody was like, you support the mullahs, you support the ahuns. How could you betray your people? And I'm like, because they're not leaving the poorest and the most oppressed alone. They're defending them. Well, everybody
these people
else
live like Shaw's Sunset out in Glendale.
Right.
Living it up.
So that's why. That's probably what happened to him. Also, the name is definitely not real. I think he changed the name. I'm trying to look. I had information from a few years back that he had changed his name, but I don't have it on hand. But definitely that Bet David is not a name from there.
And why change your name to make it sound more Jewish?
That's what I think he ended up
I know you wanted stardom, but
yeah.
Keep the news coming. We shall. And thank you guys so much for all your support on X. We passed 450 last week, and we are bad word. We are inching up to 475. We're inching up to 475. Huge milestone. Thank you guys so much. This is the place where I feel sane. I think we will donate to your therapy then. This should not be the place where you feel sane. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Maybe we are the sane ones and everyone else is crazy. Could Iran push the US out of the Gulf? In my opinion, needed. I think they could.
They could push them out temporarily, but there's no way that the U.S. would leave the Gulf permanently. I think what eventually will happen is that they'll try to reach the Americans will try to save face and try to pull back at some point, I think, if it gets heavy for them.
There were early reports, and this is not confirmed, guys, take it with a grain of salt, but there were early reports that there was the United States was asking for either negotiations or some sort of ceasefire via the Italians, and Iran declined the offer. Still waiting on real confirmation of that. Mickey, thank you for the huge super chat and much love to all of your kids. Thanks for making us laugh while delivering the brutal truth. Ramadan Mubarak, peace, inshallah. I really hope so, Spock. Thank you so much for the huge super chat and Ramadan Mubarak to all of you guys. There are also just rumors of explosions in Cyprus. If any of my Turkish or Greek friends have any word on that,
we will ask. I have Cypriot friends, of course, also in the Russophiles. Very close. We will find out.
Thank you, Paul and Mickey. Thank you again. Tax return. Everything other tax returns. Thank you.
The tax breaks and things,
Give me all your Epstein regime tax returns.
Yes.
all your blood money. We love you guys. Again, keep your heads on a swivel. Stay patient. Stay vigilant. Take a step back. Don't always react. Go ahead, Chris.
Absolutely. And I want to shout out Mike and Tanya in the chat. They're my good friends from Vermont, now living in Maine. So I saw them in the comments. Also to all the Greeks, Χαιρετισμούς, φυλάκια, αγάπη από τη Μόσχα. Ελπίζω να είστε καλά. Στους Έλληνες, στους φιλέλληνες εδώ και θα είμαστε εδώ πάντοτε για εσάς. Είμαστε στο αγώνα μαζί. So a nice opportunity to say hello to all the Greeks. Where they are in Athena, wherever they are, all over in Ελλάδα, in Kypros, όπου να είστε. So thank you so much. Lots of love. Stay strong. Stay committed. Resistance will win. Ultimately, I do believe that justice will prevail, but I think it always comes at a high cost. We know this from the experience historically, and now the place where I am has experienced it with a lot of blood, but it can happen. So take care, everybody, and stay safe as always.
Never forget, you guys are the resistance too.
We are.
It's all hands on deck, especially now.
We are.
You guys
We
take
are.
care. We will see you all on Wednesday, and we'll definitely see you in the spaces tonight. Little Timmy from ACP is hosting with Nick Cruz of RBN. It is on my personal profile. It will be a banger. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. Again, all the good vibes to Chris's fibula.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's God telling Chris to slow down. That's God telling Chris to rest. Okay.
Yes,
all right. We will see you guys in the spaces and on Wednesday. Take care. Much love and stay safe, please.